Okay, well, this is part two. I need one of those signs. Take two. But this is part two. I would love those. Always love those in shows. Remember then they always did that take two? And I'm sure after two it just got to be monotonous. But every time I ever heard take two, I always loved that. It just made, because you know what? You always need a second chance, right? You always get a second chance in life. And I'm on mine because I gave mine up on October 15th of 2019 when the man I loved, boy, I fell hard for him. Ended our relationship for the last final time. And he tried to make up for what he did bad, but that damn devil got to him again. And he left me homeless without any closing bank accounts and all that. But you know what? When you get on this side of the fence on your second chance, you don't want to mess it up. And with all the research I've been doing for the last year here in Florida Keys, fueling my mind with all goodness, and then start reading the Bible in January with more goodness, well, I can't learn enough. I know I keep saying this, but watch the movie Phenomena, and that's how my brain works. My brain, I wanted to donate to IU, but I might want to donate it. Well, it depends. I want somebody that's really going to study it and study it well. But I want to learn it. I want to know about it while I'm still alive. I want to be connected up and I want to see what's going on when I feel something. But I also, my biggest thing is my brain. I want to understand it and I have a whole library of it. I looked at it yesterday and I know it's getting close. I'm going to start learning more about my brain. I can't wait. But I'm hopeful that it's going to be because I'm going to hook up with that doctor that found out about the snake venom in the water supply. That's what I'm hopeful for because I think my medical records could help with this a ton. And me and this new computer, I'm not so sure this is the one for me. I'm finding out I like the whole pause feature and I wanted to do a rewind, like go back to figure out where I'd left off. But I did remember without looking, without even playing it, I remembered where I was. And then when I went to click on the pause button, it went, and it was just gone off my screen. I went, oh, don't you tell me that I just lost that over hour. But it's my life story. It's a lot about my life and what I've endured. And it needs to be told by me, my own voice, and not by others that want to make it not what it is. I wanted it coming from the horse's mouth. And if they divert from the story, well, they're wrong. Because I tell all sides. And I've been like this my whole life. Everybody says, oh, there's two sides of the story, but then there's a true side. I go, that'd be mine. When you're involved with Natalie, it's always going to be the truth. It doesn't matter. It's the truth. Because that's what we were instilled on when we were little. I might have told a white lie here and there when I was a little girl. I don't remember. I can't remember far back. I'm still trying to regenerate a couple of years that for some reason have just gone out of my mind. And I'm trying to find them, see if I can get them back and recall the memories. Because with Natalie, I've engraved it in my head. I say it 3 times. But I'm thinking I need a computer with editing features. Maybe not. I don't know. I think there's software for that. I think that computer guy said that. So he's right down the road. So anyway, I needed to get in my leg warmers because my legs were getting quite swollen. I could feel the edema, and that's the weird thing. Since I tested positive to all three of the vaccines back in October, when I felt like I was knocking at death's door and I was really dying, like I felt like I was dying. And my doctor never indicated, but I couldn't leave town until he gave me a week's supply. So I'd say it was pretty dang important that I wait for my remedies that are formulated just for my body only. And I'm supposed to take one today, so I keep getting this paper out. So now if I put it right here with me, I put it on my computer that's right in front of me. And I'm on remedy number 90. 333. And it's, oh no, it's day 90. Remedy 42. There it is. I went right to it. So this is all I do. And I only have today, after today, 3 more. And then I have to wait several days and I have to make an appointment for my doctor. So it'll be interesting to see what he discovers, because I sent him that whole thing on the snake venom. Because we've been working together ever since I've been down, and giving him ideas and telling him what I'm researching and all that stuff. So might as well get that out too. Sit there right there. And then you take them back and they recycle them. So it's a really good system. I call it maintenance. Because you want to be able to just live life. There's certain things you put in your body that do a number on it. The other thing I want to do is I want a lab, because Harley, I swear, whatever she's eating in the ground out here, I want to test it. I want to know what it is, because she's not throwing it up. Neither dog has thrown up since they've been here, except when they drink water. When Harley goes like Pavlov with the water, she throws up. Other than that, they don't throw up here. I can't think of the last time I had that issue. And she's eating crap outdoors that I would normally tell her don't eat. Well, she wouldn't eat it before. Now, if I saw a piece of food, that'd be one thing. That's a total different story. Now, yesterday, there were bones. And they had bone marrow in it. And then both girls ate them. They wanted them. I'm like, I'm on his dime. So if they're there and you're supposed to eat, you're supposed to eat. We're in the wilderness. Eat it. Neither of them got sick, and their poop was as firm as could be, because I clean it up every time. Unless I haven't had enough of the right mix of nutrients, and that's my fault. Because then their poop is like diarrhea. It's gross. It's like, I don't even need to go there. You can understand. We don't need to describe poop. It's already gross in itself. And there's plenty of it all over the world because it's coming out of people's mouths every day. I call that diarrhea. Those people that want to lie and talk about their fake nonsense and hurt other people. But yeah, once it's the weirdest thing. So like the other night, and I still see it over here on this side of my face, this weird swelling there. Well, when I get the edema in my legs, it wraps around my left leg. So I have found with the vibration and then squeezing these out, and my diet, which I don't eat salt. I'm too salty myself to eat salt. I mean, I just lick I taste like salt. And you should be able to taste like salt in your body. If you don't taste salt, we need to figure it out and get your salt to the right level. And that doesn't mean just go and start gorging yourself. When salt gets too salty, you've had enough. How about that? That's the easiest thing I can tell you in my life journey to get to this point today. And again, it's just through learning on my own. I don't need a test to test that theory, because I've lived it and I know. And for the first time in my life here at this resort, I licked my the top of my hand, and I didn't taste like salt. So I licked it again. Didn't taste like salt, so I licked the other one. It didn't taste like salt. I went, I need some salt. I've never not tasted like salt. I even told Lorenzo, my driver, one time. I told him, I said, I don't add salt to anything. Ask any of my friends. They're like, I need salt. And I'm like, man, I don't. I don't need it at all. I said, all you gotta do is lick my arm. He goes, what? I said, seriously. He goes, I am not licking your arm. But I was being honest. We should all be able to taste like salt. If we don't taste like salt, then your salt level is not in the right place. And if you do taste like salt, you've had enough and you need to back off of it. That's how you should eat salt. Because salt can make or break your health. Just saying. Just a little tip that I've discovered in my medical nightmare of journey that's going to lead me to heaven. Just saying. So, have you thought about your health issues and what's causing your health issues? Or are you still listening to man? I listen to him. Oh, where did he go? I don't know where my Bible has drifted off to, so I can't say. Wow, it's a prop. I probably should be grabbing it. It's on the other side of my computer. Well, how convenient is that? Right on top. Ta-da! Oh, oops. My mouse got away. Decided to take a run on the floor. Hey, I have to entertain myself. With what I'm dealing with in life, you have got to find humor in everything and anything. Just saying. And for you ladies out here, you have to see this cute pillow I've had for quite some time. I got it for my office pillow at La Casa. Isn't it the cutest darn thing you've ever seen? It just makes me happy. And Phil let me buy stuff that made me happy. Well, I kept this thing because it still makes me happy despite all the bullshit. Speaking of which, that's why I paused it because I couldn't remember where I was in the last video. So I decided to write it down, but I remember. I was telling you about my sister, what she did to me. Well, my mom was always never good with money. So we watched her, and you learn from example. And I don't know what the reasoning was, why this even happened. But my sister not only took one phone out in my name, she took two out in my name that I was not aware of. You see, when my dad showed up at my house to collect my belongings, I could only take so much. So the overflow my sister went and got and kept for me. Well, she rifled through my private papers and found my social security number, or maybe she remembered it when we were kids, because all four of us kids' social security numbers were all in a row. They were all the same, like 4323, 43244. I don't know, something like that, some order. Anyway, she stole my social security number, and I didn't know about it until I went to buy a house with Scott Hagedorn. What a nightmare that was. This freaking insurance agent was a trip. Mike Wayne. Oh, he's a piece of work. Unbelievable. We're getting insurance from that guy. I don't forget things that upset me to no end. and were unjust. I don't forget much of anything except for a year that I had something happened, but I'm regaining it every day. I'll never forget buying the house. That's the first thing that happened. Okay, you want to tell me that's not all about God? Because I never should have moved in with Scott Hagedorn when we were not married. I never should have done it. That was wrong. I love him. I still love him. And I pray he finds his way. And I adore his family. They were my family. They were as cookie cutter as a perfect family as you could ever imagine. The family I always wanted. And they've gone silent. And it breaks my heart. But hopefully one day that will change. I love you guys so much. So, we're buying this house on Fulton, and I believe he still owns. I don't know. 668. And originally, it was 666. And somebody that moved in there had it changed to 668. That's what we were told. Apparently, there were some bad things that had happened in that house before we arrived. And it continued on. Because Scott kicked me in that house, he changed. He got into the RV industry. And it did a number on him. That guy I knew from high school was not that guy anymore. That's not the guy I fell in love with. Because I loved him in high school. He was my buddy. He was my friend. And such a great guy. And the world got to him. Damn devil. So that much, so crazy. So there's three bad things for me to move into this house. Talk about looking at life in a different light. The rent credit report, and that's the only thing on my credit. Is I have two unpaid Bell South phone bills. Other than that, I'm squeaky clean. And I said, I've never had Bell South in my life. Ever. I've always had AT&T. Never even had Verizon until GTE turned into Verizon. So I called him. And I said, I want to know who authorized this transaction times two. Not just once, but twice. And they literally said to me, at Bell South, well, all you need is your name and your social security number. And you can take out a phone? Really? Are you kidding me? I still haven't dealt with that situation. You want to talk about a statue? There ain't no statue. And they're not going to even plead a statute. Because they did me wrong. And it was on my credit for years until I went to buy a house. So, I'm going to go back to that story, and I already have it on my little notepad. I'm going to go back to Mike Wayne. So the third thing that happened with the house was we were going to get all our insurance with one guy. You know, multi-discount bullshit. I work for State Farm. I know how it works. More racket. Let's have insurance on stuff. For what? Are you kidding me? Man made it all about, oh, let's do this. Oh, let's make insurance now. Gotta have insurance. Oh, but now we could do this, medical, blah, blah, blah. Now you see how that all grew too. So he says, you don't know about your fiance very well now, do you? I'm like, what? He tells them that I have a suspended driver's license and DUIs on my driver's license. Well, I'd never gotten a ticket in my life until recently on the bridge. Or after the bridge, whatever. Oh, maybe I did get one other one for my expired tags. I did get a ticket for expired tags and parking tickets, but as far as I'm concerned, that's just the biggest nonsense ever. I said, that's not even me. Again, man, not paying attention to detail, not dotting his I's and crossing his T's. That's what man does. He didn't call me to discuss it with me first. He called him. I didn't even get to plead my case until after he already involved a third party. Or fourth party at that point. I was the third party he should have contacted immediately because it was about my life. See all the injustice? So that's the third thing with that house. Him trying to get my attention that this was the wrong thing to do. You do not move in with a man that you're not married to. And guess what? The last one? Can't wait to see how all that stacks up. I haven't gone there yet. This just popped in my head as I'm doing these videos. And that's what happens with him. The clarity just explodes. But that's what happens. He gives you the warnings. They were all there. All the signs were there. But then we force it through. It's not what he wants you to do. He's trying to help you. He's trying to tell you that's not the right decision. That's not the way to go. You need to do it the right way. Then it's going to be effortlessly. Everything will be effortless. Very little effort. So I said, what do I have to do to get those off my credit? Well, you're just going to have to call the police and talk to them about it. I don't know. And how would you like to pay for these? I said, excuse me? I didn't take those bills out in my name. My sister did. She can pay for those because I won't be doing that. So I called the Orlando Police Department. Had a little chat with them. Told them what I was dealing with. And they go, well, that's 2 counts of fraud. I said, what? They said, that's the only way we can get that off your credit is to file 2 counts of fraud against your sister. I was like, are you seriously kidding me? They said, no. I said, well, I'm certainly not paying for her debt. Not doing it. I've done that enough in my life. Talk about crying wolf one too many times and screwing you over. They even moved her in my house with an infant. She still took advantage of that. Told me to stay out of her room. It's my house. Oh, what a nightmare that was. I ain't going to go there. I'll get too upset. I've let that go. Kicked her out of my house. Time to move on. See? Help people in need. But it was time. She was taking advantage of the situation. She could make her own. You got 1 month to figure her out. You got a job now? Find a place to live and move in. Dad brought that home. He had a guy in AA that hooked her up with a nice little place that she I don't even want to go there either. So 2 counts of fraud against my sister. So I called her and told her, hey, we have a situation. Well, what would that be, Natalie? Instant attitude. I'm unable to buy this house because I've got 2 derogatory things on my credit that are outstanding and have not been paid. And I'm not going to pay them because you took out 2 Bell South accounts in my name for that address that you live at in Orlando. Almost the street popped in my head. It might still. I said, so when you collected my belongings, you stole my social security number. Well, Mom knew all about it. I said, this isn't about her. I don't care. Of course, Mom denied it because those 2 lied. I won't believe either of them. And I'm not the only one. Jamie's made her name all over Elkhart for all the lies she's told. I listen to it constantly from people all over. She wants to play victim. She said, what do you want me to do? I said, pay the bills. Pay the bills. Literally, she made me be the bandit, like I was the bad guy here. I'm the innocent victim. So, what did I do? File 2 fraud charges against my sister to get them off my credit. Whether she paid those bills or not, I'll never know. I don't care. Not my business. I took the law in my hands just like Jesus would do and decided to go with justice because that's what Jesus does. It's all about justice and truth and doing it all out of love. What this world has forgotten about. What this world has forgotten about. And why is it there's so many religions out there that have all these rules and regulations? Why is that? I'll never know. Do I adore going to the Lutheran masses? They don't call them that, but I love going to the services. I love the traditional, the robe. It reminds me so much of the Bible, yet it's not because it's rehearsed. It's I haven't quite put my finger on what I've discovered because I haven't during Lent. I went to Ash Wednesday and then I went to Easter Sunday. I don't think I went to another one in between. I've been down working on my health and doing my own ministry instead on a universal level. Because I don't think God has, why do we have to have any more rules than what's in here? Religion shouldn't have borders. It should be open. Why does religion have to have borders? And one's better than the other. You can choose to believe what you do, and you're there because you believe in Jesus. And you believe in God's word. But why does it have to have rules and regulations? It doesn't. And that's why when I became a minister, and I went to the Lutheran first, and it can be verified. The paper trail is there through the internet. Sweet Lord. I couldn't conform. Just like that stupid CPA exam. My friends were CPAs, and they did not get referral from the Internal Revenue Service. I did. And they wanted to know how I got that gig. Well, when I met that revenue agent, he knew I was a straight shooter and I told the truth 100%, period. That's how I got him. Became a witness for the IRS as well, against one of my former clients, because they bit off more than they could chew and had way too many businesses and thought they could live high off the hog, so to speak. And not pay employer's tax. It doesn't work that way. That's not how it works. So the IRS, in a situation like that, guess what they advise them to do? You ready for this? Since taxes were due yesterday, you're about to get an education. Close those companies down. Start another company. Don't ever get behind. This is your second chance. Don't ever get behind again. And if you do, you're going to jail. They got a second chance. Not sure what they're doing with it. But I got paid $8 an hour to be a witness for the IRS. $8 freaking dollars. And you see how much they collect. And I got a 1099 from them as well. And let me tell you, the stress that one day put me under, when two men in black, literally, a woman and a man, all in black, badges on, walked into my office. Thank the Lord I had a man working for me back then, younger, but he came into my office with his, I thought his eyes were going to pop out of his socket. Because I had told him that I was interrupted in the shower because my phone was ringing off the hook. So I answered it. I came out of the shower to answer my phone. And the IRS showed up at their office. Federal revenue officers. Steps up from your regular ones. So I already knew that I was going to need to do something, but I didn't know what. I just had to wait and wonder. So I alerted him. And he walked into my office, and by the look on his face, I knew. Because I could see people walked in, but I couldn't. That's why I loved where my office was, because I always could see who was walking in. And when I needed to work and didn't need people to know I was there, I had to close the blinds. I had to, because you cannot get it done. So the look on his face was priceless, with his eyes were going to pop out of his head. And he said, there are 2 revenue officers out here from the IRS that would like to speak with you. Federal revenue officers, I think he said. I said, okay. I took a deep breath and I walked out there, and my leg, I felt like I was a noodle. I was shaken like a leaf. I couldn't believe it. But I knew there's nothing I did wrong. But I had to prove my innocence, because right out of the gate, I was on trial in front of those 2. What is your relationship with them? What is your credentials with what you do for a living? Blah, 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 blah. Now, wait a minute. You want to know what my relationship is with this client? Yet I didn't do anything wrong here. I'm not the one that did their taxes. I only prepared their yearly tax return, that's all. I can't make a client pay their quarterly taxes. I can't. All I can do is advise. That's all I can do. That's all anybody can do. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Just like when I put a bottle of water in front of Harley. She don't want it, she don't want it. It's all about choices. It's always been about choices. And there's two choices right now on the table, good versus evil. I choose good all day long. So when I read that Lutheran, credentials, I was like, I don't agree with that. I wanted to start correcting it and say, okay, well, I agree with this, but then I can't sign it because I don't like those things. So that's why I went universal. And that's funny. The enemy squawked at me too when I signed up to be a minister and only paid $50. I think it was $50. Yeah, it was $50. The enemy had the audacity to say, well, I could do that too. I said, really? You could sign up to be a minister with a clear conscience and pay $50 for that? I'd like to see that myself. I'm still waiting. I'd like anybody on earth to sign up to be a minister that's an enemy with a clear conscience. It can't be done. Not with a clear conscience. They can with an evil one. Or maybe not at all. Wouldn't that be an interesting test? You can be a minister for free. All you have to do is sign this. Just sign up here right here. Or $1. 2 cents. Better yet, 333. Might as well call to Jesus on your way. That sounds like a better bet. Make it $3.33. Or $33.30. Just so you know, this amount is equate to a call to Jesus. How many people would sign up to be a fake minister then? It's an idea. And I got a million of them in my head that are dying to come out. It's like it's that's why I have to keep getting rid of this nonsense from my past, and I'm telling my story from from the truth and the whole story and nothing but the truth. So help me God. He knows it. I put both hands up. Not just one. It'd be interesting in a court of law, but you have to put your hand on the Bible. How about hold the Bible up? I solemnly swear. They'd make a bigger statement now, don't you think? In a court of law, instead of doing this and covering up the Holy Bible name. How about doing this in a court of law? I solemnly swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. It is a lot more powerful, don't you think? Than like this. Covering him up. See how man does it? Let's bring him out in the open. Shazam! like Marie would say. Let's bring him out in the open. He's been buried long enough, don't you think? I certainly do. And I am having a blast on this ride with him. Every day is a new page. And what I might think is going to happen is not necessarily what happens. I don't even try to figure it out anymore. Now, if I see that there was something planned in the future, then yeah, I'm like hopeful, like that wedding that I really, really, really wanted to go to, and he knew that. But you know what? It wasn't the right time. I haven't been to Arizona yet in my life, so I'm hopeful that it'll be a it'll be a better reunion for me to go there without all the extra stuff. Maybe it was just too much stress for my body all the way around, even had I been driven there. And my driver, Jasmine, she was like all wound up. She goes, what time do we want to go? I go, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do this. I'm not sure. So, I'm trying to think, there was something else that I wanted to. It's crazy how when you clear out all the nonsense that has been weighing heavy on your mind, how it frees up your emotional thinking in this most joyful way, because you look at the world with a different perspective, and you don't want the darkness in your path anymore. Instead of just pushing it aside, you want to bring them into the light. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it but that. And everybody that's met me thus far, it's like they've gravitated towards me, and I never understood it. Everybody talked about my energy level, and I didn't understand it. I was like, what are you talking about? That's just how I am. I'm just high energy. I can't help it. I've got so much energy, sometimes it drives me out of my mind. And that first year I was sick, you want to talk about a war, my body was. It was awful. I will never forget that. It was so awful. Because my adrenaline was high, but my body said no. Talk about feast or famine. It was awful. So now what's so great is that I'm in a loving environment that has expanded even bigger than I could possibly imagine at this resort. And it's just really interesting how being here has helped with my level of peace and has opened up more. I feel like my brain has just opened up in a higher capacity, even more so than I thought it could ever get to. And I thought it could only get that way with my CBD THC combination. But even outside of that, and it's interesting how it's affecting me. Sometimes when I take it, I don't even feel it, but it does something. The next time I take it, it may affect me in a different way. It's all dependent on the chemistry of my body. That's why I have a loading dose. My loading dose is now 3. 2 is not enough. So I'm doing 3 at a time, every time now. And when I have massive head pain, I wait 20 minutes. And if the 3 dose isn't enough, I have to double it. Because 4 isn't enough, 5's not enough. I've already tested it. So, and when I get the head pain, it heightens my awareness, brings me closer, even closer to Him. And my creativity is just going 100 miles an hour. And I'm reading the Book of Mormon, or reading the Bible, and I'm seeing it more and more come to life. That's what the CBD and THC does for me, which is amazing to be able to relate to it. And I know I did when I was a kid, but when I get to church after Sunday school, that was so joyful. It was so depressing. It was like, I just couldn't wait to get out of there. It was suffocating me because I was being restricted, and it wasn't fun. It was just, again, routine. And not one I wanted to participate in anymore. So I never wanted to go the Catholic route because I didn't believe in confession. Every time you commit a sin, go confess, and then you're healed, you're cured, you're forgiven. Well, at what point do you take responsibility for that and you change your ways? Change from your wicked ways. I mean, what is that with the Catholic religion? That's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. All you gotta do is go to St. Thomas. Let's party. Because I, it's just a party there. The who of who's are there, so to speak. I went to one mass there with my father because he wanted me to go. And the next day I found Trinity. I went to two churches back to back, Saturday and Sunday. I went bam, bam, and picked Trinity. I got 0 out of the service. Like 0. It was like the worst torture of my life, sitting through Catholic Mass. What on earth do you people get out of it? I don't know. But I'm going to tell you, when I went, and I don't know what father that was, but I'm here to tell you, and everybody made excuses for him. Everybody says, oh, well, so-and-so's better than this. I said, better than what? I said, I've gotten 0 out of this service. 0. And I would not take communion. I refused. Now I know why. The corruption in the Catholic religion is unbelievable. And what's so crazy is last year when I was so sick and I was telling a guy at Lost Beach about my journey through Lent and my spiritual journey and becoming a minister and all that stuff, and the experiences of the evil in that house and stuff, he goes, oh, you need to go to the grotto in Key West. So he's the one who originally sent there and talked to a priest. And I thought, well, that's a good idea. But then I remember all the movies I've seen with Catholic priests and what they do. There's good ones and bad ones. And I'm like, well, I don't need to be attached to them if that's what's going to happen. So I decided to go back to that, think about my dad and that Catholic, and I didn't take communion. And that's why. Now I get it. My dad was really upset with me. And he goes, well, at least come up there with me. I can't even remember if I walked up there. I don't remember. I just know I did not take communion. He says, well, you can walk up there and cross your arms, and I don't remember. I don't remember. It hurts my head to think about it, so I have to not think about it. So that's part of one of my hiccups. That's what I call them. Makes me happier than the other. Just saying. But not all Catholics are like that, because I've met some pretty amazing ones. And my friend Beverly has been a love and an angel and my sister. And she's a nurse. And she's been doing research and getting her master's. What a love she is. I'm so grateful that she's in my life and part of my tribe. Love you, girl. Um, I'm looking at my scripture that I just cannot seem to memorize. And apparently there's a reason for that. I don't know. I'm having hiccups in my brain. I can memorize everything else, but this one first, I mean, I get, I've, I've almost got it, and then I forget something. And for me, I don't want to miss out. And one time I said this, I, I, I said this one, and I did kind of botch it up in one of my previous videos and gave the wrong reference in the Bible. I was like, well, that's not the right book. Whoops. But I already said it, so I just left it the way it was. It's like I need to go back and re-listen to some of my old ones as I've been going on this journey and learning. And you make mistakes along the way. You can't help because you've never had a teacher like him that you've listened to. Oh, and I get punished too. I get scolded, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. I know I wasn't supposed to do that. Whoops. Sorry. But here's the scripture that I'm going to end this video with, since I'm already up to another hour. But I need to tell my story and the truth. Jesus sought out the truth and sought justice, and that's what I'm going to do. I've got so many injustices in my entire life, and it all started back when I was little. And it hasn't stopped yet. I just want to clean up the world and make it a better place. And I think with this scripture that I'm about to read to you could help us all do that. So, if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves. That's not the right version. I apologize. And this is 2 Chronicles 7, verse 14. And it's the King James Version. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face, you know whose face, not the one in your mirror, the one you believe is up there and what he looks like, because everybody has their own opinion what he looks like, and turn from their wicked ways. Turn from their wicked ways. Turn from their wicked ways. Then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. What do we have to do but try to love one another? Let's make love, share love, unite in love, not war. Let's stop fighting. Take off the boxing gloves. And let's love one another. Is that too much to ask for? For Jesus being crucified on a cross. And this is how we're going to repay him. Come on, people. Let's show him we have a lot of goodness within us. We all do. And I've seen it in every person I've met. Just life took a toll. And then man imposed so many rules and regulations that that's where we are today. Just saying. I promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. I don't know what's going to come up next, but I haven't even read my devotions, so I can't wait to see what those are about since I just did this, and I haven't even touched them. They're stacked up here because I brought them over since I know I'm going to be in these for Lord only knows how long. So stay tuned. I've got more coming up. Love to all bunches and bunches. Bye.